Semiotics, this is the study of symbols, and in many ways we are working with symbols and symbol literacy in ways that we really haven't in the past. So even though students, we call them digital natives, the reality is they really have a clear sense of how to use the platforms that they've chosen and that they seek out with their peers to interact with, but they don't have a real innate understanding of how platforms generally work. So if you can spend a little bit of time with the symbology of things, students will start to see how closely connected and how consistently user interfaces can be modeled. So what you'll see here in the Google platforms, even with it being Google in both of these cases, this is my personal Google. You can see that it generates different pins. I have saved different apps that I use all the time personally than I have saved apps that I use all the time for education. So with this, having these multiple accounts can be a joy and it can be a headache. You are switching back and forth quite often, and sometimes you don't have access to things and you're trying to figure out why, and it might be that you're signed into the incorrect account. So I actually have 3 Google accounts, which makes it a little bit of a headache. 2 is not so bad to switch back and forth, but I find sometimes I do get logged out of things and it is a little bit of a hassle or a hoop to jump through to get those back. But having that sense of how the continuity is affected when I'm not signed into whichever platform or whichever Google account I am planning to use makes a big difference and can help students problem solve quickly as well. With Microsoft, you can see that it's really the same user interface. So here we have the app sort of home base place where everything is clickable from there. This is what I've gone into, and you can see with these apps, they have a lot in common. So, Google has Gmail, Microsoft has Outlook, Google has Drive, Microsoft has OneDrive, Google has Docs, Microsoft has Word. You can see that there's so many things that are so connected here. They do, of course, bring some unique features, both of them. So something that I've used in Google that I like quite a lot is this Jamboards, which is basically like a PowerPoint that you can crowdsource. PowerPoint does work that way as well, but with a Jamboard, it's a very simplified user interface, and you're really limited to using sticky notes or using pictures that you can source from the internet or upload from your computer. And with Jamboard, it's something that you can use individually. I had students use them to do journaling over time in place of a slideshow, and you can also use them collaboratively. So it was kind of a nice replacement for what might be an in-class conversation where I'm writing on the bulletin board. Students could be adding their own discussion results, or we could be adding to our conversation and they can be viewing it at the same time. Sway is one that I have just started exploring in Microsoft, and it's sort of like a slideshow, except that it can go in more than one direction. So you can have your story going in one direction, say left to right, but then within that story, you can also have drop downs going that run vertically. So within a story, you might have many breakout drop down areas where you follow a thread of an idea. So it's kind of a nice new form, a little bit more of an extension or more user-friendly for the long haul of topics than a PowerPoint might be. All of these apps you can see, we read left to right. And so if you're thinking about how they have designed their user interface, there's definitely a lot of similarities, but if you're switching Mac to PC, everything is backwards. There's a reason for that. Apparently, if you are right-handed, and you can try this, go through the day trying to open door handles with your left hand. What this does is it actually engages the other side of your brain and creates more possibility for creativity. So this is not for nothing. Steve Jobs definitely knows what he's doing. And so that reversal of the usual locations is kind of an innate part of Apple's creativity focus. Staying organized. Being able to find the things that you have made is vital. Google did introduce, as of course everyone's using so much storage now, they have started to remove video after 30 days, and materials that you might have developed and then not used, put them in the trash, those are also now automatically deleted after 30 days. So depending on how long you want things to last, it might be a good idea to be downloading to a different server some of these materials. If we're making Screencastify videos, which is the platform I'm using here, what I usually will do is I'll download them to an external hard drive so that it's not both taking up space in my Google Drive, if I'm using my personal one, but also so that they don't get mysteriously deleted and I don't lose that file in the long run. All of these, again, are following this very similar process of viewing. I'm able to choose whether or not I want to see things more visually. If I prefer a list, if I'm a linear thinker, I can see things more graphically, so I can see how the files sort of unspool or open up files within files. There's a lot of different ways that you can create your user interface to be as user-friendly as you would like, so that you're not, always switching back and forth and having a struggle to find where the thing is. So if you're a linear thinker and you have everything as a list, that is going to make your life easier. If you're a visual thinker and you can see all the little icons of your materials, that might really save you time and frustration when you're looking through your folders. So this is stuff that students don't really know. User interface and user experience design are definitely emerging fields, and more we'll see that there is variation, and yet having things consistently located creates familiarity for students. So if they always know where to find that Google Drive icon, learning a new platform is a challenge, but they have learned one already, and so they have that transfer of skills that's possible there.